All right, we are live. Welcome to Kai Talks. We have a good friend and kind of sort of neighbor in Goa, you can say. He's been born and brought up in Goa. We have Viresh Vazirani with us. He is the founder of Growth Gravy. It's Goa's one of Goa's biggest social media agencies, doing fantastic work. I really can't wait to dive into this conversation and talk about all the cool things digital, but also a little bit about Viresh's journey. Viresh, thank you for taking the time.
Thanks, Arup. It's my pleasure to be part of Kite Talks finally. And hearing so much about Kite Talks right since the initial days, and what a journey it's been for you. It's awesome to sort of see it all come through.
Awesome, man. Awesome. No. Really, it's my honor to have you here. So we'll try and break the conversation in two halves. First half, kind of talking about your journey, and then second half, maybe specifically about Growth Gravy, future plans, and things like that. So you're an engineer technically, right, by profession. That's what you've studied. Is that what you always wanted to do? And maybe tell us a little bit about how then what happened post engineering, and how did you kind of jump into entrepreneurship?
So yeah, before I got into engineering, it was my goal to step into the world of engineering just because I'd seen so many cool engineers in the family, and it just fascinated me. So maybe it was a buzzword, maybe it was something that I found really interesting. And once I jumped into my course, into my college, I started being a part of a lot of other clubs, and I started my own blog. So all of that time, that I spent in college helped me realize that I was more passionate towards marketing, towards social media, and
Yeah.
it just, helped me look forward to that. It helped me spend more time on that front rather than my college. Even had some of my professors asking me why you even doing this course. So yeah, multiple thoughts. Third year, I questioned myself: should I go through the course? Should I not? And I said, okay, let me complete this. Let me, finish what I've started and what I've
Fair
wanted to
enough.
do. And yeah, then stepped into.
Is that more to keep the parents happy, or?
I don't know, backup option. Parents are happy. A tag of having a degree.
Yeah, yeah,
All of those factors I think contributed, and I just felt maybe what I'm it could be like a B plan, right? If
yeah,
something
yeah,
if I want to maybe do something in future, some further studies, it's always going to help have the base set. So
awesome.
that's what kept me going, I believe.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Did you jump straight into entrepreneurship, or did you spend some time doing a little bit of like work on your own?
So, right, actually, before I graduated, in
Yeah.
my first year, I started my music blog. I launched a Toastmasters club within college. I
Okay.
had the opportunity of being part of a lot of social activities as well. So, all of those initial years of my college, the first year, second year, really helped me build skills, whether it was leadership, communication. Then I brought on board speakers to our college to be a part of events, and that helped me open up to new avenues, get internships there,
Yeah.
find a mentor. And I feel that has been like my initial journey, which helped me get that confidence that okay, right off third year I can start off a project. So for me, Growth Gravy was just a brand name, and I started the Facebook page and started doing some side projects back in those days, even though I was in college. But yeah, the full-time gig and the full-time commitment started as soon as I was done with college, and yeah, that's when I kickstarted the journey.
Nice. And I mean, was it daunting at the time, or I mean, were you like, listen, let's just, I mean, if you kind of look back, I mean, 8 years, right, of running the agency, 250 plus clients. I mean, it's been an awesome journey. You have, I mean, I think 40 plus people, correct me if I'm not wrong, and that's big, you know. I mean, not just for Goa, but I mean, even other cities don't have such large agencies. But I mean, at that time, did you envision where you're gonna go, or did you just kind of take it a step at a time?
So I honestly did not envision, if you were to ask me what I would think back then, it was just super organic, and I always believed in doing the work and putting in the effort at that moment and focusing in the present, not as much of like, okay, where am I going to be 5 years from now, and what's it going to turn into 10 years later. It was just something I was passionate about, and then gradually with each client coming in, and it was more like someone wanted help, and I was sort of there to figure out how I can give that help. And because I did my internships, I knew what it was to give value at a scale in terms of having a team to support you, whatever
Yeah.
tasks come your way, figure out how you can find the best people to do it, motivate the teams. So yeah, I think that enabled me to build a vision towards scaling up. At the same time, I wasn't really intending, or I didn't start off and say that, okay, one day I'm gonna have a 20-member team or a 30-member
Mhm.
team that works with me. It was all just organic, and even till date, it doesn't really feel like, okay, it's been a journey of like building a team of 45 people, because it was all always like one step at a time. And I think that's been a comfortable journey. It's had its own ups and downs, it's had its own challenges, but yeah, happy to be here.
Nice. And so, I mean, of course, being based in Goa, did you think that you'd want to focus primarily on the Goa market? I know a lot of your clients have been in the hospitality space and things like that, but I know you do have some national clients as well. But I mean, how did you plan that out? And I know parallelly you were running like individual pages like on Instagram, Panjim, Goa, and Food of Goa and things like that. I mean, how did that all like work for you?
So, with regards to the pages and the side hustle of sorts, it started right since I started Growth Gravy, and the thought was, I am pitching clients to grow their online presence and build their
Mhm.
own online presence. Let me kickstart, some of my own pages, and sort of just talk about food, talk about the city life,
Yeah,
and it grew from there. Back in the days, I had a lot of more time, and it sort of helped me push that effort and energy into building an audience and growing the page and creating the content. And
yeah,
yeah, I think that was the reason why I was able to start it, and even till date, it helps a lot of our clients. It helps communicate, it helps reach out to the audience. So those pages, have been like really a pillar to what we are today and to our existence. In terms of the kind of clients, I feel right in the beginning, because I had such interesting times with my mentors or with different
yeah,
communities that I was part of. Even had the opportunity of working with a few international clients right off the bat when we started off, and they're very interesting stories of how we landed them. But it's always been a good mix of you could say international clients, national clients, and of course our local homegrown Goan brands as well. So it's a mix of hospitality, real estate, organizations, entertainment, now sports. So yeah, we've had the sort of opportunity to work with different industries, and probably because we were from Goa, we had a lot of opportunity to work with hospitality brands and
yeah, yeah.
sort of brands that focus on tourists. So yeah, that was an interesting insight. But at the same time, because it's a small state, and
Mhm.
we are based out from Goa, we also got the opportunity to focus on different sectors, and that really also helped us when some national clients came in, some international clients wanted to see what our work was. It sort of had I mean, we had like a good wide portfolio, which was spread across different sectors and different industries. So
Yeah,
yeah.
no, amazing. Um, Before I jump into kind of where you're at now and a lot of the focus like on sport, entertainment, multiple other things, I want to take a few steps back. Uh, you've seen the digital landscape change, right? Quite a lot. If you can maybe throw some light on how you've seen also clients kind of change their thought process and how you've as an agency also adapted to that, adapted to the different kind of needs, and also different platforms, I mean, on one level you'll have people wanting to focus only on, say, an Instagram, but now more so you see video. So again, just maybe a little bit about the journey on how you've seen kind of that shift happen, over so many years.
So I'd say back when I started, the awareness of digital and the need for digital in the minds of people was not as well established as it is today.
Yeah.
So yeah, COVID was a tough time for everyone. A lot of businesses had issues, and a lot of businesses were rethinking, reimagining. But I feel that phase really helped people realize the power of digital. I mean, I've personally seen so many businesses come through COVID, so many businesses launch in COVID, so many,
Yeah.
Instagrammers build their whole journey
Right.
in COVID. Like, it's been interesting. So seeing all of that shape, I think I would definitely say there's been a drastic shift in the mindset. Like no one today comes to me and says why digital or
Mhm.
why social media.
Yeah.
Because back in the day when I was starting, when I was driving with someone who was like an industry veteran in the IT space, and when I spoke to him that okay, I'm passionate about social media and this is what I'm intending to do. What do you think about it? He said, do you think some of these big business houses will pay you to manage their social media? Do you even think that's going to happen? And that was the question back then, and I'm sure his opinion now has changed. But that's when I talk about the shift and I talk about the mindset that has changed. This is what it is. So yeah,
And yeah, I mean, you're right, because it's like mainstream budget, it's not just, oh, you know what, it's a good to have, it's a must have. I mean, it's now very much part of the P&Ls, even of the big organizations, and you have to set aside money not only to spend on, I would say, sponsored things, but to ensure that you're up to speed with your clients and customers and everything.
absolutely.
And
And
so,
what we
you go.
see is even till date, there are clients who chop their offline budgets, who sort of to just make way for their digital. So yeah, I think it's a great way for people now to position, to brand, and to sort of really directly connect to their audience without too many hurdles in the way. So yeah.
Have you seen like over time now? Because I also like have a lot of conversations with organizations where they actually have an in-house team, but they also have an agency working on. Is that you've seen that often, or now you've kind of just seen maybe people kind of completely delegating, or maybe some people moving from agency to, like, say, completely having an in-house team. I mean, how's that?
So I think
Uh,
all scenarios is something that we experience, but
yeah.
in more for the best scenario and ideal scenario, I feel we always insist that the client could have someone on their end who has an understanding of digital,
Okay.
who is sort of able to liaise with the agency and
Right.
maybe with the management and the leadership team.
Yeah.
Because I mean, at times, yes, the leadership team directly gets involved, and maybe the founder was personally driving the show, but yeah, with like growing organizations and like large sort of organizations, it's a common practice to have an in-house team. With it may be just a marketing team which
Yeah.
sort of understands digital or is able to coordinate with the agency to get the best. So yeah, and also at the same time, an in-house team always focuses on learning more about the brand and knows like what the objectives are and the vision is. So that always helps bridge the gap and sort of push things forward. So yeah, we've had both the scenarios. One where there is in the organization there is a team which is coordinating with us, and we
Hmm.
are supporting the teams. There has been situations where there's a complete sort of trust and complete creative freedom where the clients have said, okay, you guys drive the show. They of course are there to help and build that initial understanding and set the objectives. So yeah, both the scenarios exist. And yeah, the third that you spoke about where some clients wanting to shift and have a complete in-house team, even those situations exist. But I think it has its own challenges, and clients do
Yeah.
realize them because then there is then it depends on how good the team is and all of that. So and of course it comes at a cost. So when you're hiring it has
Of
its own,
course.
yeah.
So you mentioned 45, right? So are you guys 45 strong at this
Yeah,
point?
yeah, it's
Amazing,
45.
man. That's quite something. So how do you manage? What like what's your day like? Is it the same? Like are you part of like I don't know how many WhatsApp groups or like what's the I mean really or I mean do you have multiple like kind of managers within the system? Tell
So
us deep dive into to your entrepreneur world.
So yeah, so for us, all the projects have different teams, and they're working on of course coordinating among themselves as well to get the best. And yeah, for me personally, how many WhatsApp groups? I think I've lost count of that, but we try to have work delegated through teams, and so like every project having its own project manager leading the campaign. Then it's sort of this regular brainstorming that we do. So, I mean, at times, yeah, things are difficult and things are fast paced. So it all depends on different projects and what bandwidth each project requires, demands. So yeah, it's been of course, you know what what would work when we were a small team of 5 to 10
Yeah.
definitely cannot work now when we're a team of 45. So there the change, it's been evolving. It's internal processes, operations. Now I've got more team members to support me to make decisions, to work.
Yeah.
And I feel we've always tried to create the culture and the mindset that you trust the teams to make the decisions. And sort of in marketing, I feel there's never the I mean, there's always a better idea, there's always a better approach, there's always a better way to execute. So
Yeah.
it's always you got to learn from what you do and
Yeah.
sort of take in feedback, see what you could do better and improve. So yeah, there's always room to grow, and I think that just keeps us on the edge always.
Nice. So, I mean, we're living in the world of AI, and you have so many more tools to help copywriters, video editors. So, as an agency owner, what's the kind of message? I mean, there was a lot of people at some point, like say when ChatGPT really came out, said, "Oh, we're gonna lose our jobs." This, but as an agency owner, how have you embraced AI or and really are you using it? I mean, within within the teams, and are you encouraging? I mean, all of because I would say it makes work faster on one hand, but it also, yeah, I mean, you need to be able to understand and use it in the right way. That's the tricky part, right? So again, maybe just a short bit on
So
if
I would
AI
say,
and the world we are living in now.
for sure, you cannot not embrace AI, and you cannot tell someone not to rely on AI and not look into the new tools that are coming up, whether it's some plugins on ChatGPT or whether it's any add-ons or anything. I definitely always encourage the teams, and I think it can improve your efficiency, your productivity. The content that you would otherwise sit to proofread or sit to write can now be done at like 1/10 of the cost maybe, and 1/10
Yeah.
of the time. But having said that, yeah, depending too much on AI is having its own, dangerous situations. So
True.
that's something that also now requires a lot of training internally, where,
Mm.
yeah, you do rely on AI, you do use AI, but you know, we have to sort of add our own minds to it as well, and give it the right prompts. Sort of like the other day, somebody was telling me that yeah, ChatGPT gives you quite robotic content,
Yeah.
and you can figure. So there is now a tool which you can take that content and put in another AI tool to make it more simpler, make it more human. So I'm sure things are going to get better, and there'll always be a solution to every problem that AI itself creates. But yeah, I don't see it as taking away jobs. It's just going to replace people who don't use AI. So,
Fair
using
enough.
AI is just going to replace people who don't use AI. So,
Yeah. Yeah. Are you seeing a shift on thought mindset from the client side as well? Like in terms of maybe, I mean, them
yes, I mean,
suggesting.
a lot of clients are super supportive, and they'll themselves say, like, okay, you can just take help from ChatGPT, and So in the initial days, it was like this hidden
Right.
tool that every agency or every social
Yeah,
media
yeah,
content writer would have. But now it's I'm glad that a lot of even clients are sort of seeing the benefit of it, and they are encouraging. Okay, I know you can just, I don't need something too complex. You can just give me quick options,
yeah.
and yeah, it does help. They've embraced it.
Nice. So, growth gravy, so many years later, like I already mentioned, multiple number of clients. What does the future hold? I know we've, I mean, offline had discussions about the whole sport entertainment side. You're already working with multiple clients in the sports space. I know Baichung Bhutia football schools and multiple others. Tell us a little bit about what the future holds. Are you always going to be a Goa-based agency? Maybe I mean thinking of expanding outside. I mean, and maybe also I know we've spoken about the influencer side. You see I now Indian athletes being massive influencers, maybe managing their social media. I don't know, I'm just throwing ideas, but tell us from your perspective where does the future lie for Growth Gravy and what is the some of the cool projects you're working on?
So I would say right since the initial days, we were lucky to have had the opportunity of some really big events in Goa, starting from International Film Festival,
Yeah,
which is again an event of national importance, and
yeah,
it's international with its nature. So being able to manage that project for straight 6 years is been
yeah.
quite a journey.
It's
And
massive. Yeah,
yeah, I think through Goa itself, hosting some really big and kick-ass events, and in the entertainment in the sports space, whether it's national games, also we got the opportunity to work on that as well, in terms of being able to work on a national with the football academy in Baichung. It's been quite a journey. It's very interesting for us, and we're definitely looking forward to more on the sports front, more on the sports entertainment front. I think recently we're also working with we wrapped up with the Legends League team, and
nice.
yeah, and now Coco League as well. We're working with the team,
Super.
so it's been very interesting. It's a different passion game altogether, and yeah, the team's really driven towards it, and that's what I think keeps us going. As long as the team's motivated, the team's passionate to execute and to work on the projects, it's something that reinstates the confidence that yes, we are heading in the right direction, and it's definitely a space that we'd love to explore more, and sort of add value to. And like I said, it's always been the mindset that yeah, someone needs help, how can we step in and how can we add value. So it's always been that mindset which ultimately has helped, and it's always helped. So from one client to the second to third to referrals to so that's worked for us. And yeah, we're looking forward to more on that front, working with more sports teams, more in the sports entertainment space. It's something that we are super passionate about.
Nice. I know you mentioned Legends League cricket, and well, so that means there's some direction towards sort of the big league as well, which is IPL and some of the big players. So I'm sure there's
Definitely.
the future's bright, and the more I think I see the sports business, the more I realize there are experts required. There are, because you see a lot of the teams having in-house social media managers and things like that, but and there are maybe a handful of agencies out there, but no, I mean, kudos and all the best for what lies ahead in this particular space, because it's huge, and I mean the potential is none other. That's for sure.
Yeah.
From a Goa perspective, have you seen is I want to ask whether it's a good thing or a bad thing in terms of do you see clients kind of looking at Goa saying, okay, you guys are based in Goa, maybe like from a pricing point of view. But on the good side, it's also like, oh, y'all are based in Goa, we can come and visit. Uh, so, I mean, just maybe tell us a little bit about that side of it.
So yeah, I think definitely there's an excitement every time we say we are Goa based because
Yeah.
someone's probably thinking of a Goa meeting the moment we strike that thought.
Yeah.
And yeah, I because the world's digital and because travel is now so convenient,
Yeah.
we like for example when we're working with the sports league, our teams are on field, on ground, working
Yeah.
with the team. So even though our base is Goa,
Yeah.
we've been working with clients on field and on ground in different cities, and it's been sort of quite a journey. it's it's been a good ride for us on that front as well. So yeah.
Nice. Nice.
And like you say, because Goa does come with its own culture, with its own pace, with its own
Yeah.
fresh air to think creatively, to work productively. So yeah, I think it's worked for us. It's something that we are that's built us, and we're
Yeah.
proud of.
Yeah. I want to touch on something that I didn't touch on earlier, which is the skill studio. I mean, tell us a little bit about how that came about and what you guys did there. And I think it was also during COVID and kind of because I feel like a lot of people from a digital point of view, it because people and clients are consumers, they think they're also experts. But it's I mean, you really need to understand and need to learn and need to kind of really be in the space. Maybe just throw some light a little bit on the skill studio and how did that come about and if there's kind of any future plans there as well on the
So
education side of digital.
So with Skill Studio, it was a COVID baby, and we had a lot of free time back in when the first wave hit in,
Yeah.
and it was difficult to just outright tell teams that okay, there's no work, so don't come to work from tomorrow. I mean, there was time at our hands, and we were able to utilize that time to build this e-learning platform, and it was a great learning for us. We had like close to 1,000 paying students, which was
Wow.
quite a number for us because it was again the first time we were venturing into that into the e-learning space, and it was something as basic as we know it and we think we can add value to you. You can learn it from us, and yeah, moderately priced, something that we got great feedback from, whether it was about blogging that I knew, whether it was about digital campaigns, digital ads, UI design, this graphic design. So all of that combined is something that we always in that learning phase of seeing what we can share, recorded courses, live webinars. So it was quite a great time for us, massive learning, because we had huge ad spends that we were spending, and we were recovering that ad spend, which was like, okay, digital does work, paid
Hmm.
ads to work, and that's where we started off like that journey. But yeah, I think over a period of time, once things started opening up, and we did it till about 2021 end or 2022, and it we realized that as an agency, we had to spend more time on that because that started growing up as well, and
Yeah.
so that's where we had the shift in terms of our bandwidth and our resources. But yeah, I think the courses are still there, and like we do have students signing up on that and taking a look at that. And in terms of being part of platforms like this to impart anything that we can sort of do to help someone and educate someone, it's something that I am personally also passionate about, and which is why last year Goa Beachside Summit is what
Yeah.
we came together, kicked it off,
Yeah.
and yeah, I think a lot more on those lines of pushing things that we know to help others grow and others learn from is something that that we're passionate about, and it always comes back. When you give, when you impart knowledge, I strongly believe that it always comes back in leaps and bounds. So
Yeah. No, no, completely agree. Um, Viresh, we're reaching the end of our time, but I know you run, I mean, you're pretty much an influencer yourself on Instagram. Don't be modest about it. I know you run multiple pages, you run an agency that's 45 plus people. I can't imagine how many clients you have to deal with. How do you get time for yourself? I know you're a married man as well. How do you figure out the downtime, and what do you do to kind of, I don't know, stay sane?
Yeah, that's a difficult call. I think I've chosen a profession where there's no off time because there's always something or the other that requires attention, requires time. But yeah, I think for me the downtime is only like off time, or free time is like when everyone's asleep. So or like right early in the morning if I manage to get that, or if I'm traveling. So those are the rare moments and rare times that I can afford
Yeah.
to sort of yeah. But yeah, it's something that I can't complain about because it's something I've chosen, and I've chosen that because I was super passionate and super interested in this space. And like you
Yeah.
say, when you love what you do, you never work a day. So it's that sort
Nice,
of a
nice.
mindset, and yeah, I think it's something that I'm happy to be doing, and it's something that I know comes with its challenges, comes with its own burnout times, and
Mhm.
yeah, everyone's figuring how to work with it, how to manage that work-life balance. But yeah,
No better place to do what you love to do than in Goa, I would say.
absolutely, yeah,
No, fantastic. Viresh, really appreciate you taking the time and giving us a little bit of insight into your world, and what lies ahead for Growth Gravy. All the best with it, and I know we are going to continue the conversation, but again, all the best, and really appreciate you being part of Kai Talks.
yeah. Pleasure's mine. Thanks for having me, Arup.
Cheers.